what are you doing here? Hi friends, Lydia, your realistic esthetician, and yes, the long-awaited YouTube channel is finally here. I am still actively trying to figure out how, when, where, what to edit, what to do, what to use to film, what apps, whatever. I'm just using my phone and my busted microphone right now. So please, as I am figuring everything out with editing, everything, like literally I keep on looking at myself and then looking back at the camera. So please just be patient. I am figuring it out, but I'm really only a pro at editing on TikTok right now. So bear with me. Now, of course, as I want to introduce you to my channel, longer form content, having more conversations with y'all, I wanted to do something that has been long awaited for the past few weeks when people knew that I got this machine. Of course, we are talking about the Shark Pro Facial Glow Hydro, whatever. What is it called? Facial Pro Glow. Now, how I got my hands on this machine, actually, it literally does not matter what my opinion is on this machine. Respect to Shark. I made my video with concerns about hearing about the release of this machine. Every single influencer under the sun got this machine. And as an esthetician, it did bring up some concerns just because a lot of these at-home machines can cause a lot of damage, and something trendy like this with suction, with the chance of bruising, broken capillaries, etc. I was like, not really my deal right now. I'm not really into it. Here are my concerns, right? And Shark, within like 24 hours, DM'd me, commented on the video, and they were like, girl, try it. Oh, you want to be loud? Girl, try it. Put your money where your mouth is, even though I didn't pay for this. I did not pay for this, by the way, to be very clear. And so, honestly, no matter what, understanding how combative brands can be and how easily brands go to blacklist certain influencers, content creators that may kind of have their own concerns with certain products, devices, whatever. Shout out to Shark. You have my respect no matter what, because you were like, oh, you want to talk? Talk the talk after trying it. So, Shark, respect no matter what. Now, just like I got this machine, sat down and used it, I want to explain to you how it functions before I give my opinions. I have pros and cons, but I really want to show you how in-depth this machine goes, because that was one of my main concerns of it kind of just being like, here you go, take it, and not really explaining it. They go so in-depth with this, so it really kind of took me by shock with how in-depth they have explained this machine. Now, here she is in all of her glory. I got the lilac color. I believe they have two others. Correct me if I'm wrong. This does not have any of the tips on it right now. It comes with two chambers. Here are the buttons once it's on, and then this disconnects this top part because it also comes with what they call the depuffy. It has a heating and a cooling setting, which personally has been one of my favorite parts of this. Now, it does come with 4 tips. It comes with 2 of the darker teal colors, which they would call the normal. This comes with normal hydrofacials as well. And then they have the gentle tips, which are the more mint colors, which once again, that is what normal hydrofacials come with, depending on the skin type and client you're dealing with. And this is kind of like a full facial type of deal. So it does come with the first step, which is the detox, and the second step, which is the infusion. You also will get a cleaner and a charging device in there, and you're gonna get the Facial Pro Glow. I've been like choking on my own tongue trying to say that, all right? This user guide, which first pro is that this blew my socks off, knocked my socks off with how in-depth they go with this. I was kind of expecting like a 3-page manual and them being like, here, use it. But they go in-depth on how to use this, when to use it, what certain like water types look like after you use it, why there's BHAs in some of these serums, etc. Like everything, like literally they explain everything. So the manual guide was the first thing that definitely made me put my tail between my legs, because I'm like, okay, all right, you got it there. And honestly, the manual kind of made it almost foolproof to use. The way they explain how to do this facial is very easy to understand. Even showing my friends who aren't estheticians the user guide, they were kind of like, oh yeah, I got it. And I had them explain it to me, and they were explaining the facial pretty well. So the user guide is very clear and concise, which helps me with my worries of people actively using this device. Now, when you open this device, you will see 2 chambers. The smaller one is for clean fluids, clean water, whatever step of the facial you will be on. And then this one is the gunky tank. Now, this is where my first concern comes into play. If you don't know, I'm blind as a bat. literally blind as a bat at 24 years old. Thank you, genetics. And there is a fill line. You can't even see it like in the camera. There is a fill line and it's really hard to see. So this may just be me nitpicking, but especially with something that needs to run on a certain amount of water, where it is required to have this amount of water for the certain timing of the treatment and how this is set up, let's make those lines a little bit darker. All right. The machine itself is not the one and done exfoliation you are getting from this device. The detox and infusion serums themselves are exfoliants. So you're basically getting triple exfoliation with this machine and using the serums it comes with. So already, just taking that into factor, this takes a lot of people out of the realm of who can use this and who can use these serums. First step is the detox gel, which is AHA and BHA alpha hydroxy acids, which help with texture, which help with smoothing the skin. Also, it can retain some moisture in the skin. And BHAs, which are beta hydroxy acids, which help with controlling oil, break down sebum, etc. So detox. And already, my skin is quite resilient. I've been an esthetician for 4 years. I give myself chemical peels. I've done the whole zhuzh before. But with quite resilient skin, who tends to get sensitive sometimes, even this has the slightest tingle on my skin. So this is not for sensitive skin. This is not for sensitive skin. This gel itself, I really could see that sensitive skin would just be so uncomfortable using this. And this is the first exfoliation step. So for Shark, while my skin can handle it, definitely if you have sensitive skin, if you have eczema, psoriasis, if you have active acne, etc., you should not be using this with two other three methods of exfoliation as well. This would be way too much for your skin. So Shark, maybe in the future we can come out with a sensitive version of these gels if people do want to get into this machine. Then after the detox gel has been sitting for, I think it says 3 minutes, you use the machine itself. You are supposed to use the normal tip and then the T-zone tip, obviously for your T-zone, with the first set of the gel. And this actually, I really did see a lot of sebaceous filaments. I really did see some dead skin cells come up out of there. But this is where it's like, we are already on a second level of exfoliation and you want me to do this again? Because once you're done with that first round of extractions, then you rinse the BHA gel off and then you fill up the tank, the clean tank, with the infusion. And this is a BHA serum. So this is a third round of exfoliation, and then you are supposed to use the machine on top of it again. This is a lot of exfoliation, which I already know a lot of consumers cannot handle. So already, with providing 2 chemical exfoliants and then providing the other exfoliation on top of those exfoliation methods twice, this takes a lot of people out of play. This takes active acne out of play. Personally, just me as an esthetician, don't do hydrofacials over active acne. This takes eczema out of play. This takes sensitive skin out of play. This takes some dry skin people out of play. This takes impaired barriers out of play because this would be way too much exfoliation. So while I do like this machine, I was able to handle it with my oily skin, and especially since I'm a lot more resilient, there's a lot of people who do not qualify for using this machine, especially sensitive skin and the 4 exfoliation methods you are going to be using in this facial protocol. But I have used this over the past 2 weeks. My skin looks pretty good. Now, is this a professional hydrofacial? No. Is this 400 doll hairs? Yes. If you have normal skin, your skin isn't sensitive, you don't have active acne, you don't have eczema or rosacea, and you will commit to using this, I think it's pretty much a bang for your buck. Now, I would say maybe make this the price of a hydrofacial, which could be anywhere between $150 and $300. I think $400 is a bit too much for this, and the fact that it's not a full hydrofacial. But give and take. I don't like the price, but honestly, it's not terrible. Now, the depuffy part, which has a cold and heat setting, is an amazing aftercare treatment for this facial, especially with the amount of exfoliation, with some flushing that may happen. I love the cool setting. I'm also a sweaty girl that's on Prozac, so I appreciate this even if I'm not doing a hydrofacial. So for the function of the machine, the way it works, I think it is an excellent at-home choice for an advanced treatment. If you have normal to oily, not sensitive skin, no active acne, no active eczema, no active rosacea, if your skin has a history of reactivity, if your skin does not do well with multiple methods of exfoliation, you don't count. I'm sorry. But if you do handle exfoliation well, if you've never had issues with harsher exfoliants, with facials, with chemical peels, and you don't have any active issues going on, this could work for you just by the way it functions. Now, let's get into one of my most major qualms with the machine, which is the cleanliness of this machine. Now, I do appreciate that it comes with a cleaner and a scrubber, and in the manual, it does tell you how to clean this. It also comes with one of these, it almost just looks like a regular bottle cap, which you put on the tip, and it has a self-cleaning mode, which honestly, good job. I would have never thought it had that just by looking at it. But the way they tell you to clean it. Now, with a lot of estheticians, with a lot of different hydrodermabrasion machines, because it's not just hydrofacial, it's hydrodermabrasion, just the act of that service, a lot of the tips are one-time use disposable. Now, these are not. This was one of the main concerns that I brought up in my video with Shark Beauty before they sent me this machine, and they do recommend that you interchange these tips every 9 months. Which to me as an esthetician, even for at-home use, is a no-no. With a lot of consumers who are not aware of cleanliness, how to clean machines, we saw it with the Clarisonic in the 2000s. People would just leave it wet and keep the same tips on for 6 months, and it was disgusting. These are going to hold moisture. These are going to hold bacteria. These are going to hold your sebaceous filaments, extractions, sweat, dirt, sebum, etc. So you need to be disinfecting these and replacing them a lot more than what they recommend, unless they have come out with some type of patented plastic that is antibacterial, whatever. 9 months, 9 months is not going to cut it with these tips. In the user manual, it does say, scrub off the tips, do the self-cleaning mode after every single time you use this machine, and let it air dry. There is nothing about a disinfectant. They specifically tell you not to use soap in this machine just due to foaming and getting into the inner parts. We need to be disinfecting. If a lot of you don't know, if a lot of you aren't estheticians watching this, we practice universal precaution. And I believe this should be something that bleeds into at-home machines, companies providing machines that are going to give deeper treatments, because bacteria is going to sit in here. I don't know if you can see my sebaceous filaments in there. You can also see tint under my nail. But on purpose for this video, the last time I used it, I cleaned it the exact way it told me to. I didn't use any of my cavi wipes or disinfectants, and you can see the sebaceous filaments still in there. I did not clean as an esthetician. I was like, let me just go into the mind of the consumer. I used the little brush, scrubbed over it 3 times, rinsed underwater, and let it dry. There is very clearly still sebaceous filaments and dead skin in that tip. And even if I did do a full cleaning like I would normally and not kind of test it out, just getting into a regular consumer's mind, water is not enough to disinfect this. I don't know if I read it wrong. I read the manual again before I tried this. They specifically just say water. Now, before the last time I kind of experimented with leaving dead skin in here, I do wipe these down with Clorox wipes just because I'm a freak about that stuff. Universal precaution, it's just my esthetician mind. But that is one of the biggest things I am finding as a flaw with the Shark machine, is that this can get nasty really quickly if they don't revamp their cleaning rules and what they recommend, because of course they say to do the self-cleaning mode with this and leave the chambers open to let it dry. But where is the disinfectant part of this? God forbid someone goes over an active pimple and now there's blood running through this machine. I highly recommend that if Shark watches this, they do come out with a disinfecting, whether it's like something like the infusion serum that can run through the machine. But that is one of the biggest qualms with this machine, is that it can get pretty nasty if you are not practicing very high cleanliness standards with this and cleaning it, like putting in some elbow grease cleaning this, because literally you can see that my sebaceous filaments are still all in there. Now let's get into another qualm. The normal tips laid beautifully on my face. I was able to get my cheeks. I was able to get my nasolabial folds on my forehead. But due to my unique anatomy, which is a Mediterranean nose, this normal T-zone tip, and even the sensitive one, they don't fit on my face. I'm going to show you these, like, I was able to get the sides, but you can see my nose is pretty narrow and has a hump. I am not able to get into this crease of my nose without releasing suction. And I am not able, and because you can see my nose is kind of downturned, due to my anatomy, I'm not able to get to the tip of my nose with this. So I know it's a pretty unique issue, but if you're like me, you have Mediterranean features, an Arab nose, a nose that is more narrow, maybe more pointy. I mean, I'm lucky that I have a rounded nose tip, but my nose downturns, so I can see with pointed noses, more narrow noses, noses that turn even more down with a heavier septum. I can definitely see that this doesn't work for them either. This T-zone tip really is kind of useless to me because it does not fit on my nose. So please, if you're looking for this machine, wanting to buy it, if you have a nose like me or similar in that aspect of being humped, being more narrow, being more pointy, T-zone tip isn't going to fit on your nose. A pro and a con for this machine is that the suction is like a little crazy. Now, is it a professional hydrodermabrasion facial suction? No. For a consumer grade, at anyone's disposal at any time, this is strong. There are 3 modes. The first mode is definitely what I recommend if you do lean a little bit more sensitive. Obviously, I have spoken about who does not qualify for this, but if you do have normal to oily skin, and you purchase this machine, always start with the first mode. The second mode is the highest I would go for the first few times of trying this facial, because the third mode, if you do not have the flow down, if you do not know how to properly use this machine, get a flow down, get the routine down, you are going to bruise yourself. You are going to get broken capillaries. You are going to hurt yourself. You are basically going to give yourself hickeys. The third section on this is strong. Now, that's what I use and what has definitely helped with my skin and glow. But if you are not used to this machine, if you have not used this a few times beforehand, if you do have it, do not use the third suction mode, especially since, like I have spoken about before, this is a multiple layer exfoliation method and facial with this device. So start lower and work your way up, because with machines like this, you can definitely mess yourself up if you do not work in the side of caution before anything else. Now, I know watching through this video, it probably seems like this is a really negative review. I don't hate this machine. I am going to continue to use this machine. I am going to continue to say, if you have normal to oily skin and little to no contraindications, I think this is a great at-home machine. It's definitely one of a kind right now. A lot of the other hydrodermabrasion machines at home for at-home use are really crappy. I honestly find this a little revolutionary with the technology, what it comes with, and what they are advertising and how it performs. Granted, I don't think the way they're advertising for sensitive skin, different skin types, is very accurate from what I have seen and how I know skin as someone who touches skin every single day. But if you fall into the qualification zone for this machine for your skin type, I think this is a great investment. Now, of course, if I didn't know how this worked, I wouldn't buy it myself for $400. Yeah, still kind of hung up on that. But really, I don't hate this machine. I think there is a lot more to talk about, a few more kinks to work out with the Shark branding, maybe a little bit more branding we can put, a little bit more precaution we can put, maybe a new and improved manual. But honestly, it's not terrible. I think this is a great at-home machine if you fall into the qualification skin zone. Shark, thank you. This is honestly way more surprising than I thought, but I do have my qualms. So maybe in the future, they're going to upgrade machines. They're going to come out with a 2.0. They're going to come out with a cleansing solution, a sensitive serum, different tips, etc. But for its first release, for node modifications, and for a first time go around at a unique machine like this, not terrible. But once again, before I end this, a big thank you to Shark Beauty. No matter what my opinion is, a brand that is able to stand on their own 2 feet, be willing to have these conversations with consumers and especially professionals, which a lot of brands, especially skincare brands, tend to shoo away from just because a lot of the times we come with knowledge that may not be within the branding or the kind of little intricacies that need to be spoken about, especially by professionals. Them just being like, girl, just try it, give us your opinion. We're not gonna like give you a little spanking for not liking this. So Shark, no matter what, they have my respect. Thank you so much. I'm gonna continue using this, and I actually can't wait for what the future holds for this machine, any upgrades, anything else. So honestly, I'm not mad. But my friends, thank you for listening to me yap. Of course, if you have any suggestions, any questions, comments, concerns, I have a lot more YouTube videos planned, and I hope to upload at least once a week. Do I know what day? No, but I hope to be more consistent. Please let me know what you think about this longer form content, etc. I tried my best, all right? I hope I didn't bore you too much. I love you. Bye bye.